think we're watching the most evil thing I've ever seen in my lifetime, which is the lame duck administration leaving the next administration with the world war, with the nuclear conflict, by allowing Ukraine, a proxy state of the United States, to strike within Russia. I think that people in Washington misunderstand Vladimir Putin, and they think he's a monarch with absolute power, which is not true. And Russian politics is complex and it's lively, and Putin is very concerned with his approval rating within Russia. He cannot appear weak. That's a huge threat to him. He feels that, I can confirm. If he can't hide attacks on him by the United States through Ukraine, either on Moscow or big civilian casualties, I think he will have no choice, in his view, but to launch like a serious response against Ukraine or NATO countries, or possibly the United States. It seems like the most reckless thing that's ever happened in my life.
For Joe Biden, or whoever's acting in his name, to do this just 2 weeks after the country resoundingly rejected governance by the Democratic Party in the administration, and on his way out as an 81-year-old man, knowing that he has about 6 weeks left in office, to just say, I know that these are massive risks, but I'm willing to take them. I'm 81. I don't really care. And then to make it so much more difficult for the following administration to do what they promised to do during the campaign, which the American people voted for and wanted, which is to resolve this war. Instead, we're risking escalation with the world's largest superpower, nuclear power, over what?
Under the Biden administration, allowing Ukraine to now use long-range missiles to actually strike targets inside Russia. This is something that the United States, up until recently, has not allowed Ukraine to do, being that we are supplying them weapons. This could be looked at from Russia, Vladimir Putin, as a direct attack, or that it's fine for Ukraine to attack Russia inside its borders, backed by the United States. This is one of the first times in my life I've seen a president like Biden that is leaving the administration. Everybody in America, the majority resounding voices, want a different policy structure. They want Donald Trump and the Conservative Party. And for Biden to allow this to happen when he's only got a couple months left as president is really muddying up the waters for the next administration to try and wind this war between Russia and Ukraine down. Let's roll into the next video, guys.
Fox News alert now, the former commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army making the grim declaration. World War III has officially begun as the country faces pressure from North Korea and Iran. Now Russia retaliating with new ballistic missiles after Biden gave Ukraine the green light to fire long-range attack missiles into Russia, and the UK gave their green light with their Storm Shadows. So let's bring retired four-star General Jack Keane. So you see the response from Putin, an experimental intermediate range missile. Why do you think Putin fired back like that? What's he worried about, General?
Yeah, well, first of all, Putin is really a master of psychological warfare, and in the Soviet Union and Russian playbooks, it always has been a major part of their conducting, kinetic warfare, and he's really quite good at it. I mean, look at it. He's forced the Biden administration never to give the Ukrainians what they wanted when they wanted it, and it protracted the war. So Putin keeps coming, and that's what this is all about. He wants to stop the use of ATACMS into Russia because he knows full well it already has. That can have some pretty significant impact. And certainly that's where he is, and that's what he's trying to get inside of Biden's head here and the Europeans' head. I think he cares less about Zelensky because he knows that Biden controls the switch here. Yeah. And that's the reality of it. So in my mind, this is an experimental missile. I doubt they have any arsenal of it because it is experimental. They don't have much of it. And he's trying to use this as much leverage as he can to change the behavior of the United States and also Zelensky.
He says the missile goes 2.5 miles per second. The world's current air defense cannot stop it, according to what we have. So that's the message he sent. So the former military commander in Ukraine writes this. Soldiers from North Korea are standing in front of Ukraine. Let's be honest. The Iranian Shahidi missiles are killing civilians, or drones. It is obvious that Ukraine already has too many enemies. Well, I'd say this is a world war. You feel like this is a world war beginning?
Well, I have some empathy for Zelensky, by the way, and for our audience. He used to be the chief of staff of all the forces in Ukraine, and he's highly respected. But you're sitting where he is, you can understand his feelings about this. I mean, he's fighting Russia, and now another nation state has come into the war to assist in the overthrow of Ukraine. And to truth be known, all the escalation talk has all been about the United States giving the green light to Ukraine to use ATACMS and moving in mines. The real escalation is there's another nation fighting on the ground inside of Ukraine, inside of Russia, attempting to push the Ukrainian forces out of it. That's significant. He looks in the Middle East and he sees Russia's ally also, who started a war there, Iran, and Iran is a tangible provider of assistance. So from his perspective, that indeed may be the case. From our perspective, no. But I do believe we are in a pre-war era. I've said that many times. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea are seriously cooperating together. And they clearly want to change the United States leadership in the world with like-minded democracies. That's why they've been so aggressive and so assertive these last three or 4 years. And German intelligence actually publicized recently. I was amazed that they put this in a public domain, and I was gratified that they do. And I suspect our intelligence agencies feel much the same, but I have no knowledge of that. The reality is that they said that Russia fully intends, after the Ukraine is finished with, to expand into Europe. And all the European nations know that. And certainly I think our country knows that. I know that as well. So yes, we're in a pre-war era. There's already two wars in our geographical key areas, the Middle East and Europe, and President Xi is threatening war, obviously, in the Indo-Pacific region.
Yeah.
The incoming administration, given President Trump's strong views in the past and what he has done to confront adversaries, I believe all of these adversaries are reassessing as a result of the election that took place in the United States. And then I believe when President Trump comes forward and his team, and they can begin with policy formulation, that will be another moment for them to see if they have to change the path, the very aggressive path that they're on.
Yeah, guys, you have the war in the Middle East that's going on right now, and we have got this war that has been going on for years and years now between Russia and Ukraine. Up until recently, Biden has not allowed long-range missiles to be shot into Russia that we were supplying Ukraine with, because that would be viewed as an escalation of war. So that is how Russia and Vladimir Putin is now viewing this attack from the Ukraine on them. Now, Russia did start this war and they are trying to overtake Ukraine. However, during all of this happening, there has been from the United States to not allow long-range missiles being fired into Russia due to trying to stay out of what would be World War III. And with China continually eyeing Taiwan, it's just this could be the beginning of World War III, but hopefully it's not. But what do you guys think in the comments? The way I see it, man, it's like the more and more fights people get into, the more and more countries that get into it, and we're fighting all these proxy wars by supplying them weapons and stuff like that. We're in this whether we want to be or not. We're backing Israel right now, and we're backing Ukraine against Russia. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. What do you guys think in the comments? I always like hearing Jack Keane talk, because he's just General Jack Keane. I love hearing him talk because he's just a wealth of knowledge. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. You watch it On Air with Nick Driver podcast. And hopefully when Trump gets in office, we can de-escalate the war between Russia and Ukraine, and also keep Taiwan from being overran by the CCP, the Chinese government. Guys, have a great day. Take care.